In this video, we're going to solve a mean value theorem problem. We have f of x is x times the square root of x plus 2. And we want to find the average slope m bar on negative 2, 0. And then verify the mean value theorem by finding a number c in negative 2, 0 so that f prime of c equals that average slope. I wrote the mean value theorem on the right as a reminder. And so the first thing that we want to do is get a picture of f of x. Okay, so when we plug in negative 2, this term is going to be 0. So f of x will be 0 there at negative 2. And when we plug in x equals 0, this term will be 0. So it passes through 0 at those 2 points. And then in between negative 2 and 0, the x will be negative while this square root will be positive. So we'll have a negative times a positive. That means it's going to be negative in here. But then after x passes to the right of 0, this is all going to be positive. So this function looks something like that. Okay, and so we can go ahead, they're asking us for the average slope on negative 2, 0. We can go ahead and draw in what we think that would look like. It should be 0, right? Because these 2 points are equal. But let's go ahead and calculate it. So the average slope, that's going to be f of 0 minus f of negative 2 over 0 minus negative 2. Okay, so that's 0 minus 0 over 2, which is 0. Okay, that makes sense, right? This line definitely looks horizontal. And the average slope is 0, based on this calculation. So then for part 2, to verify the mean value theorem, they want us to find some number c in this interval so that the derivative at that point equals the average slope. So let's think about the derivative at various points. So if we took the derivative here, it would be that. If we took the derivative here, the tangent line would be like that. We want to find a point where the tangent line has slope 0. So where along here does it look like the tangent line has slope 0? It looks something like this, right? If we drew the tangent line there, it roughly matches 0, right? So C is going to be some point in between negative 2 and 0. Okay, and then to use the mean value theorem, we're going to have A as negative 2 and B as 0. So let's check that we can apply the mean value theorem. F of x is continuous on AB, that's negative 2, 0. So yes, f of x is continuous on negative 2, 0. And we can draw this without picking up our pencil. There's no jumps or there's no breaks. It's differentiable on the open interval, negative 2, 0. Yep, it's differentiable on the open interval, negative 2, 0. And that tells us that there's a point C somewhere in between negative 2 and 0, so that the derivative at that point equals the average slope. And that definitely looks true, because, we sort of found where C probably is, and it definitely looks like the slope is 0 there. So now how do we actually find that? Well, we want f prime of C to be equal to the average slope, which is 0. Okay, so we have f of x. Let's take f prime of x. So this is going to be a product rule. So the derivative of x is 1. We multiply that by square root of x plus 2, leaving that alone. And then we add, we have x, and we're going to have 1/2 times x plus 2 to the negative 1/2, right? So that's going to be the square root, I'm just rewriting, x plus 2 plus x over 2 square root of x plus 2. So this is f prime of x, and we want f prime of c equals 0. So let's plug in c. So f prime of c is going to be the square root of c plus 2 plus c over 2 times the square root of c plus 2. We want this to equal 0. So now this is an algebra problem. Let's multiply both sides by square root of c plus 2. 0 times anything is 0 again, right? So we multiply square root of c plus 2 to the left-hand side. Okay. And the right-hand side. Okay, so we know the right-hand side is 0, so let's focus on the left-hand side. The first two terms are going to turn into c plus 2, right? Plus, and then root c plus 2, it's going to be divided by root c plus 2. So we're going to be left with c over 2, right? That's just multiplying out all of these terms. And this is equal to 0. So we have a c and a c over 2. So this means that 3c over 2 plus 2 equals 0. And this means that 3c over 2 is equal to negative 2. So c is equal to negative 4/3. Okay, that seems about right. That says that at negative 4/3, the derivative of f is equal to 0. And 0 is the average slope.